Okay, so in this video we are going to discuss a bunch of modifiers and what is an editable poly. Basically, when we choose a basic shape, like this teapot for example, this is already a base primitive coded and given to us. This is a little script panel. So as you guys can see, we have some coordinates. We can pick its radius and all, and we can choose the segments, meaning the amount of polygons. Like let's say this is a PS1 quality model. This is going to be the teapot because we need to reduce the amount of polygons. You see, it looks like a really cheap quality and all, but the textures only made them visible in PS2 and others. Similarly, as I increase the polygon count, it has over 10,000. You can see it looks really smooth, and it goes all the way higher the more polygon count it is. But as you can see, if I render it right here, it's looking smooth and okay. But it has a lot of these extra segments which makes it a lot harder to work with. I'm going to take them down to 10 and render again. I need to notice, did any difference at all came inside here? No, it did not. Similarly, if I take these down to, see any difference came in here? No, so you have to make sure not to add too many segments. So first of all, if you go here, and I need you to pick up the text from right here in the splines, and I need you to literally type anything. Like I'm gonna say it, just write anything. Like I'm just gonna say hello, like that. And anything you write, you just have to drag it. Like just click and hold the left click, and it's going to be visible right here. Okay, so we have this now. We can underline it, or we can italic it. You can also bold it if any of you have actually used word processing softwares like MS Word and others. You guys would be familiar with it. You guys can resize it. We could choose its kerning, meaning the distance. The leading means it would be like shifted a little bit up and higher or lower, but leave the kerning part for now. Sorry, the leading part, not the kerning one. I'm just going to leave it default to 0. You guys can just pick a font. Or if you actually need to look up a font, you can erase the name and press the letter like C. Like I need the chiller one, I'm gonna just type in chill. It's showing me all the ones from the CH. So here it is, the chiller. I'm just gonna click it and it's converted into this font. Now it's just a spline. A spline is just a basic shape. We're going to cover that up in the next video, what a spline is used for. But now if we go inside its properties, we are actually going to apply a modifier. If you go inside the modifier list, go all the way down and pick up extrude. You guys have this little surface now here. It's looking like an actual 3D plane, but it's being rendered on both sides. So you can choose the amount, meaning it's going to actually extrude it out like a 3D shape, like this. And these segments are added automatically because those are necessary there. So you guys know that, and we can give it more height segments or so. So it has like more of a defined shape like a 3D model. You can use this to make signboards or billboards or anything, or like the signs those models have. You guys can try it yourself too. But if I make it smaller, we don't need that many segments because these are like 7,000. That's a lot. So optimizations have to be done like this much. And there's like the cap start, meaning the starting, like the top would have a cap, which is not here anymore. And if I turn both caps off, the cap of the end too, because we started to extrude it from the bottom, so this is the start cap and the end one. They're not visible and we only extrude the edges like this. So we are going to take them again, and if I right click on it and convert this into an editable poly, it's now an editable polygon, this shape, which we can work with. Again, so now you know how we can like first choose the basic shape, the amount we need to work with, and then get started. So similarly, what I'm gonna do is go here. We're gonna pick a box. We're going to drag this box out like this. And we are going to choose how many segments we need to work with and the size. For example, I'm going to give the length 3 feet, the length 4 feet, and I'm going to set its height around 5 feet. or 6 is okay too. Okay. Now these are just 6 polygons, it's like 6 sides. I can split them like this. For example, if I just add these height ones, yeah, height. So yeah, now you can see these are actually 16, 18 polygons. It's showing 36 double the count. I'm gonna right click and convert this into an editable poly now. Now means we can actually start to model this stuff. Like we chose the base shape, how many segments we needed, and now we can get started. So if I choose here, you guys would be able to see some of the vertex or vertices. These all have shortcut keys F1, F2, F3, F4, F5. I really don't like working with them, so you don't have to either. You guys can also use the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 keys to switch between each mode. So press 1 or just press this button here. First, we're going to discuss what a point is. So each edge is joined by a point. So I want you guys to understand this better and take a couple of notes too. I'm just going to draw this here, the sphere, because it would be more easier to explain between the two. So you guys know that a point joins all the edges together. This one has a lot more points compared to that one. Why is it not showing anything? We have the shape selected. Why? Because it's an editable poly. So if we actually exit this sub-object mode now, it's going to show you the entire models. But if I just go here and I just click one vertex by clicking it, it's going to turn red. We can move this around and all. Yes, we can, but it's actually showing us that we have one vertex selected on the sphere, and the total, like in the entire scene, including this shape and that one, is actually showing you the total of that. So as you can see, all the edges meet up right here, and this should have a lot of like edges, right? Because each one of them has a vertex being joined. But these edges, they have only this one single vertex here. Why is that? It's because they're all welded together and they meet up at this point, so they're all like compressed into one tiny dot, meaning I can move this up. It's going to be moved like this, and I can then render it. It's going to look like somewhat like this, so we can move polygons and all around. Same goes for the edges. If I click on an edge, I can move it around, scale it, and just do all sorts of things. These are called edges. So what's a border? For the border, we're going to exit this object and choose this one. I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to pick up the border. You see, we cannot select a border. According to you, what should be a border? Like the outer boundary of the object, right? You're not half wrong, but these are edges. Like each of these white lines, they're called an edge. If you drag and select it like this, or if we need to multiple select them, you're going to hold down Control and click on each of them. This way you can select these, and you can also control and drag it, and if you need to deselect, hold Alt and click on the ones you need to deselect, or hold down Alt and drag, and all these sides are deselected and only the top ones are selected now. So what's a border? Basically, if I hit the delete key, it deleted that top section. Any open area on the same angle is a border like this. You see this boundary is open. This is going to be a border which has no more edges connected to it. It's like open. It could be any shape. For example, if I switch back to the sphere right here, I can go in here and choose its sub-object mode, and I'm going to choose polygon. We're just going to click on one polygon, any of it. It could be any, like choose any of your choice. Like I'm choosing this one here. You can pick that one up too. Hit delete on your keyboard to delete it. Removing something is different, deleting something is different. So I just deleted this polygon, and if I switch over to the border and I click on it, this is the border right here. In the same way, if I switch over to edges now, you guys see we have these edges selected, and we can move these around like this. Still, if I hold this edge here and hit delete, it deletes those two joining polygons. But what if I just need to remove that edge? I'll come here and I'll press this remove button. That edge is removed because deleting something and removing something are different. Same goes for other stuff, like you can remove points. For example, if I go to this point here, I'll pick this up since it actually saves our last selection. We clicked that last time. Again, I'm going to deselect and click it again. So if I hit delete, it's going to delete the entire joining polygons because that edge was the thing holding them together. And if it's broken, you actually have to like know the structure of an object. Same goes for remove. If I remove it, see it's now a single giant polygon. See, like it's a single polygon, and I can move it up and down too. It's forming this shape, but it's like a single polygon now. It does not have those edges, so you can define the structure that way. Now, some of these primitive shapes, they actually have built-in modifiers and all. For example, I have only this one selected, right? So if I go here and I choose the extrude modifier, we are only getting face extrude, but not the extrude itself. Why that? Because you see here we have a bunch of buttons, the extrude, bevel, and all. If I click this extrude button and just hold my left click on it, I can actually use this the same as the extrude modifier. Same goes for any polygon. Like I can just choose these, I can extrude these in or out or push them in or so. But I'm just gonna do a couple of Control Z's. And what I'm gonna do now is press this little button right next to it. It's gonna take some time. If I press this button, you guys can see I can like manually type in a value. Like, let's say I want it to be pushed inside by 3 inches. I'm gonna tell the system -3 inches and press enter. This is exactly pushed inside a -3 inches like this. And the same goes for if I press this apply and continue, it's going to push that same polygon in, but you can work with different too. For example, I don't want to push this in anymore. I need to like push this inner boundary inside. So I just choose that, okay? Now it was joining that one, so the other polygons are still there as it's being pushed out. I'm gonna hold down control, choose this, or just shift and click. It's going to actually round it off the entire thing. It just like did a ring. You guys can press this button too, shrink. Shrink means it's going to turn it smaller, and if I grow it, it means it's going to select out more. That's what grow does. Is shrinking means it reduces the selection. And you see only the center is left. So like that, if I can shrink and grow and other stuff. You guys get the idea. And one more thing. Now I have these much polygons selected, right? I'm just going to choose it, hold shift and click. Any of the polygon is going to ring. But sometimes it does it in this way, like a slice. So be careful about that. That's actually a loop. This is a loop, that's a ring. Like it actually rings around that selection. I'm gonna go back in this property and it's grouped. Local normal is a bit different. It actually takes the direction, the angle they're on, because if you stand on here, its 90-degree would be like this, like a bit tilted. So they are according to that. If I choose by polygon, it's going to extrude each polygon out separately like this. You see each one of them are separated. Group means it's going to treat all of them like a single giant selection. And local normal means it's actually going to adapt to your 90-degree angle on which it was. And by polygon means they're all going to be separately selected. Now I'm going to give you guys a little task. Try to draw a sphere and try to like shape it like a Pokemon ball. Like push this out like just a basic shape. Don't need to worry if it looks the same or not. Like you can just do this and choose the local normal to push this outer width out a little bit and all that. So you guys can try that, and in the next video I'm actually going to show you how you can do that and the bevel modifier.